Thank you too. So, I want to know about your personal finance journey. Since our theme is how to overcome limiting beliefs, like, tell me when you were growing up, did you ever have any limiting beliefs yourself? If you did, who was the person who influenced this thing? Was it a parent or your environment? Tell me about that.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, I did. And I think everybody does have one, belief here or there. There's a saying that no child is born a criminal. It's a society that makes us. So you can have two children from the same parents, yet they have different attitude because you're put in separate places. So growing up, one of the things I thought I would do is once I grow up, I become responsible with money. I don't need to worry about how I was going to do it now. I thought it would automatically come with growing up. Another belief I had was that once you're blessed to have money, you have money anyway. You don't need to put in any work. But this took a toll on me when I started working, and I realized that because I didn't have any goals, I was spending my money anyhow in the beginning. I was earning a lot.
Okay.
But when I started having family, I realized that if I had known what I know now, I probably would have saved a lot. But it's also not too late to start from somewhere. And I'm very happy that we have young people here who, at least I have been in a profession for about 15 years, so that you can take the opportunity to start saving as early as you can. And some of the things I did, immediately I came to the realization and then started taking a monthly contribution into that account. Convinced my husband to do the same. So as I speak to you, I have 3 children in a very expensive paying school. However, we do not have to take money out of our pocket to pay their fees. So what we have done is to build that account to a very high level where our interest components can easily pay for their fees. And another thing I'm doing now is to also build towards my retirement. I've had a lot of people in my offices who the last 2 years of their retirement was very uncomfortable situation for them, because once we start working, the first thing we have to do is to think about how we're going to retire. I want to retire big. And so I have started working very hard at it and cutting down on all unnecessary expenditure. So practically, these are just a few. And because of our time, I probably will not be able to go into other areas towards making me financially sound.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for that. That's very nice. With you taking your kids to that expensive school, someone probably somewhere, maybe a stranger or an acquaintance will look at you and say, "Hi, your parents are being, your mom is surely being paid 10 figures or this amount." They don't know that, oh, you actually planned it and you built up on it to be able to afford such a thing. That's very nice. And
Yes. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Ashley.
I think her internet connection.
Hello, Ashley. Can you hear me?
I think I think her connection. So she's.
Okay,
I think
sure.
she has a bad connection.
Okay, so I can go on talking, right?
Yes, please. We are listening.
Okay. And so we'll just go back to the question she asked me earlier. So if you're planning towards your retirement, which sometimes could be a very, if you're not careful, it could be a very bad experience for you, especially when at that age you have health issues where you need to pay expensive bills and then you have not planned properly for it. you then have to rely on your children and others. So what I'm currently doing is I set up a small business, and I wasn't scared to take all the risk that comes with it. So majority of the proceeds I get there goes into a special account towards my retirement, so that I'll be able to have the opportunity to have a sound retirement and not spend all my money now that I have the energy to work more.
Hi, I
Ashley,
got cut
yes,
there. So
yes,
sorry. My lights are off here actually, so no internet to get you.
it's okay, it's okay.
Yes,
So I just added a few examples to the earlier questions you asked me, so you can take it from here.
great. I was saying that, do you think that your attitude towards money is actively co-creating your reality? If you do think so, how are these beliefs co-creating your reality?
Yes, there's actually a saying that savings is not a function of your income. It's actually an attitude. And the fact that I have a plan where
Saving
I want
is not
a function of your income.
a function of your income.
Yes, it's actually an attitude. So people make statements like, oh, once I earn the 1 million, I'll be able to save a 700,000. But actually, the same attitude you have for earning 50 Ghana will be the same attitude you put up when you have 1 million. And I can tell you as a matter of fact, because I have experienced both extremes where I thought, oh, let me wait till I start earning a bigger salary or a bigger income. And I realized that as soon as I earn the next level income, it just has to take 3 months and it's all gone into other things. So it was actually a decision I took to ensure that every income I make, including every money that I get, a portion of that funds should go into some form of savings, either the one towards a home, either the one towards retirement, either the one towards my children's education, etc. So it is something you need to consciously decide and work towards, and you need to be disciplined to be able to achieve these realities. I'm currently working on, I know I like nice things in life, and I guess everybody does. Yes. So working towards where I would want to have my retirement home, and therefore there's a need for me to start working now on that. So yes, I can say that to some extent, yes, but it's still others are a work in progress. And as I say, success has no ending, so you constantly have to work towards all the dreams of your life that are linked to financial habits.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. How does one identify their personal beliefs on money, especially limiting beliefs? How do I know that I even have this belief anyway? How do I,
I think one of the first things you have to do okay, so what I'm going to do is to tell you some of the statements that we've heard so many times that once you hear it, you give yourself comfort and say, oh, don't worry, everything is okay. Like, oh, these people, that nobody can make this much, they stole it. That's this book I read. I just want to throw more light on that. Now, there were 3 families who had their goals and therefore started preparing towards it. One was one of them, to her, owning a good home at retirement was the ultimate. So she started early and saving towards it. When finally she retired and she moved into her home, her neighbors and her friends were like, oh, she might have won the lottery. Oh, she might have followed other people. So let us not take negativity and negative comments as us to have influence on any aspect of our life. So take yourself out of such conversation and then build at your lead. You just have to be consistent. identify your own goals. Everything starts with beliefs, with goals. So set your goals, because once you have those goals set, you'll be able to know how to channel your money through achieving those goals. Don't listen to what people say about money. Statements, they are usually statements and habits you pick from home or friends. People who spend every money they have will one day find themselves.
Fauzan. It's from here. Okay. Oh, okay. It's not on mute. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Okay. Then it's from our speaker. Just give it a few minutes to come back.
Hello,
Hi.
Ashley.
Hi. Hi. We're back on.
Hello, Ashley.
Hi, Nanama.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Okay,
can.
I think your connection. Okay, so you can go on now.
Okay, that's great. Nanama, I want to know how people come to have these limiting financial beliefs. Like, what causes it? How do people take up these beliefs?
Okay, usually because the human mind or we're made out of what we see. You pick it from the society. So we're talking about picking it from school, first from home. The attitude of your parents could have so much effect on you. And then you also pick from friends, that is usually from school. And then from if you're working, or your friends. So one of the things I always talk about, you can't change your parents, but you can change your friends. There are statements like, if you have 5 disciplined friends, you're likely to be the disciplined person. And so if you surround yourself with friends who are very how do I say, very disciplined with spending and money, and disciplined with saving, you're likely to pick up this habits from them. So when you realize that you have friends who are always pulling you to spend and bragging to tell you what I owe, it should be a sign that you should find your way out and find friends who can tell you about one investment or the other. And I can tell you, as a matter of fact, I should have invited a few friends. I have colleagues who are my mates who will call me and say that I want to start a business. When can I come and see you at home? I want to resign my business. When can I come and see you? I have written a proposal to start a business. When can I come and see you? And so if you find yourself among friends like that, then you're likely to model some of the positive things of savings from them. If you have parents who did not teach you how to save your first money, your first savings and all that, well, there's nothing you can change about it. But you have the opportunity to learn from other people. And so you find a way to, we learn every day and learn instead of, one of the most worst things to do as a young people is to surround yourself with a group of people who want to spend their money on things that are not productive.
Right.
So that is where we pick these things from.
Okay, thank you. So for our session today, I spoke to a couple of people, a couple of my friends and random people in general, because I wanted to find out what limiting financial beliefs some people had, and I'm going to mention a few of them, right? Then you can tell me what you think about them and if they are true or they are false, right? Then if you could also help us replace that limiting belief with a supporting, empowering belief, right? So instead of telling ourselves this thing, we can rather tell ourselves this thing, right? So one general thing I found out was money is the root of all evil, and money is bad. And if this person is rich or if this person is wealthy, it means that, oh, they had to cheat someone somewhere, or they had to, murder someone or do this shady, dirty thingy to be able to gather the amounts of wealth. So what do you have to say about that?
So money is not the root of all evil. It is rather greed is the root of all evil. You
Okay.
heard me, right? Greed is the root of all evil. There are very common words that people usually make mistakes and think that they mean the same. Like greed and liking money. They are two separate things. Like being wicked and being firm. They look alike, but they are two separate things. So whenever someone tells you that money is the root of all evil, tell them it is greed that is the root of all evil. Money is good for us. So that is one statement.
Okay, so
You
money.
get it. So at least you know that is not the statement is not is money is the root of all evil. It is money, greed is the root of all evil. Because if you love money, it will give you the opportunity to cherish it, to put structures in place to make sure that everything you pay for, you want to pay for health, for education, for food, for water, and especially health, you need to pay for it. And therefore, putting money aside or protecting what you have to be able to meet those needs is not evil. But when you're greedy, meaning that you go beyond what you see, you want to take new things, you want to own people's things without work, you want to do other things without putting a plan in place. In fact, there's a statement, something happened, I think last week when I went to the market. I was sitting in my car waiting for, to come home to finish packing myself. I saw a young boy who was selling in the market and said, "Oh, have you seen this Range Rover? I would own one soon." I was expecting him to say that I will work so hard, do all I can, and own one. So greed is not having plan and wanting to own all the beautiful things in life. But wanting money is putting a plan in place and making sure that you save the little you have, you do other invest in other businesses or invest in other products or financial products, so that once you need that, you'll be able to acquire it without difficulty.
That's great. Money is good. All right. The next thing I found out was this you only live once attitude. So let's say instead of saving, they are all like, oh, money is there to be spent. Why do you have to save it? No, it's there to be spent because you only live once. And do you think that's a limiting belief? How
Yes,
how
it's a
how
limiting belief.
yes, how can we replace it with an empowering one?
Yes, yes, it's a limiting. We live once, but when you live without preparing for your life or saving what you earn for your life, it will even, but we have to live well. To live well, you need to plan, and to plan, you need to save. Did you get me?
Yes, please.
Yes, we live once. And to live once, we need to live well. And
Yeah.
to live well,
You
we
need
need to
time.
plan well. And to plan well,
You
we need
need
to save for a rainy day. The Bible also teaches us about the ants, the ways of the ants, as one of the wise animals or creature. That the ants actually gather during the sunny season or the dry season, because it knows that one day there will be a rainy season. And then when the rainy season comes, which will definitely come because we're human and life is not
it's not straight
linear.
line. Yes.
Life is not linear. It will definitely come. But when it comes, the ant is so secured, it doesn't even come out and has all that it needs to last them and then to make them live once in a lifetime and live well because they have planned and saved.
Right. Right. Okay, so I am going to replace that belief with to live well, you need to plan, right? And
You need to see.
you need to save. Thank you. So another thing I found out was that some people came from the angle that their family or the community they are coming from, nobody has ever been successful financially, or nobody has ever been wealthy or rich. So they really don't think they can do it too, because the people they are with, they went to the same schools, their parents are probably friends, and they do all these things together. So is this a limiting belief? And if so, which empowering belief can we replace it with?
So, there's a caste system that the caste system is basically people believing that once they are born poor, they'll forever be poor, they can't mingle, and that is it. But that is a lie. So for me, my mom lived in the village. She was brought up in the village. My dad lived in the village. He was brought up in the village. But when they all, because they educated themselves and they planned well, they moved out of the village, they lived in Accra, and they built their future, they saved and they planned. It gave me the opportunity to also have a good life. So they started the generation, they took me out of that generation. And then when I got the opportunity, I'm also building on that to also give my children a better life. And so with mindsets and that to debunk all those beliefs that once you come from certain group of families or you come from certain group of you have certain parents, you can never become who you want to. That is a limiting factor. And therefore, we don't have to believe. We have all seen a lot of these things. We have people who had nothing but constantly work hard and saved, and they are where they are now. And I can tell you that I know my next generation will keep increasing because of an attitude I put in place and the sacrifices I made today. One of the things young people are not willing to do, they are willing to own the iPhones when they can't afford it and then take all their gratification now. But there's nothing so beautiful than delaying your gratification. I'm not saying you should live like a pauper. I like the beautiful things in life, I tell you. But what I've decided to do is to grow into them and build a plan towards them. So you don't need to say that I'm coming from, look, let me tell you one practical thing you can do. If you think you live, sorry, excuse my examples. If you think you live in Nima and you want to have big dreams, once in a while, take a ride in Cantonment, take a ride in Airport Hills.
Yeah.
If you think you live in a village and you do not, instead of using that money to buy other things, get onto the internet, know how people are building their future and their lives and their dreams with nothing. If you think you have limiting factors, take an opportunity. Now, I mean, now the generation, this generation has no excuse, because you have everything it takes to be what you want to be. You have the internet that tells you everything. In fact, my children, the younger ones who cannot read, they actually use Siri or use whatever, and then they speak out and they get all the information they want. When they indeed ask me a question and I can't answer, they quickly go to that and then they get whatever they want. So take advantage of the times and don't give yourself any limiting factors.
Right.
People see me, people's perception about me is, oh, she's just lucky. But these are thoughts. These are thoughts, work, diligence that have been put together. I have so many friends in high places because once in a while, I take a ride.
Right.
And I take it in the right places.
Right. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I love that so much. Thank you too. Another thing I found out was that some of them say that more money means more problems, and that the rich can't sleep at night because of the things they are involved in. So please shed some light on that.
That's a complete myth. Because it's actually the greedy that cannot sleep at night. But those who have diligently made their money, they have sound sleep. The bank is there for you to keep your money. There are brokers who can manage your funds for you. And all you have to do is just take reports in the morning and sip a coffee or tea in your garden.
Right.
It is only those who are greedy who cannot sleep at night. They are wondering who is watching their shoulders or watching over their head. If you're rich and you want to protect your funds, you have so many other places to keep your money, even outside Ghana. Right. You don't need to worry so much about who is coming to take the money. If there are places in this country that you can live that armed robbers are, the probability of armed robbers coming there is less than 1%. And so if you're a rich man and you think you have that much money, you can live in that enclave where you're secure, nobody will come and raise a gun at you. There's a possibility that you can also live lean and have all your money in other investments, help other people who are poor. That is also fulfilling. But the myth about when you have money, you can't sleep is a complete lie. Those who have it and have worked towards it are enjoying, they have peace of mind. They're able to afford a quality health. They're able to, I know a woman who has, she's old, she's 80, and then she has kidney failure. She has a dialysis machine in her home with nurses and doctors who come in and go. She's worked so hard, built her dream, built her life. But she's 80, she's sick. Now, there are some people I met in 37 who are old. They live their life recklessly and spend money on women, on drinks and other things that don't bring any results. And they can't even afford a paracetamol or a consultation fee. And so money is good. That's one thing. I mean, you're not the only person, but a lot of people think money is bad. Money is good. It's greed that is bad. So it's greed that is bad, but money is good.
That's good. That's good. And the last thing I also found out was that some people think that it is selfish to want a lot of money because money doesn't buy happiness, apparently.
Money buys happiness. Money does buy happiness. Period. If you're building a future that you're not stealing people's money and you are not shortchanging people, and you save that money, when your mother is sick and needs to be flown out of the country, that money will buy you your loved one. Money is not. Hello.
Okay, I wanted to ask a question.
Okay, sure.
Please continue. I will give everyone the chance to ask a question after we are done with the session.
So if you have worked so hard, like I have, saved as much as I can, and then my mother is sick, and I have the resources to fly her out of the country for a good medical health, that is happiness for me. But if I've stolen from a lot of people and I'm watching who has my history to bring out to disgrace me, then it is not buying happiness. If I've worked hard and I've worked smart and I have saved my money and I've invested well, and my children want to go for holidays in the best places in the world and see them smile, I have bought happiness with my money. Yep. But if you do not put these things together well, then people will say, and another thing is, one of the reasons why I want to be comfortable is to make the people who matter to me in life smile. You can know how bad it will feel when you had the opportunity to save, you never did. And then somebody as special to you as your child or your mother would have to lose their life because you could not offer them the help. Which one is, which will be, to me, will be losing happiness. So it is important that we note the difference between doing the right thing and doing acquiring money the wrong way. Mm-hmm. If you're a student in school and you always study every day. So you are very prepared towards your exams, your academics, your results. You put some relationship into your friends. Once you finish school, you feel fulfilling. But if you're a student in school and you're spending all your time jamming, there's actually a difference between these two students. And that's exactly what I'm saying, that happiness is a decision. It has nothing to do with whether you have too much money or not. If you have too much money and you have worked towards it, you enjoy it. If you have too much money and it is greed, you will suffer for it. So the idea is bad or good. So once you are in the good line, everything you do as a result of having money will bring you joy. But if you toe the bad line, everything you do with having money will be associated with not being happy. And some people think that there's karma, that you get the reward of what you sow. And so maybe once you have money and you are suffering, that is because you did not sow the right seed. But if you sow the right seed, you will definitely yield the right fruits, and the fruits will make you happy.
Thank you. Thank you. From what you've been saying so far, I see that you've been mentioning savings a lot, and saving and saving and saving. You've really been pounding on that word. Something just came to my head. You see, you hear these things like, oh, why should I even save? Like, especially when you have very little, because after watching the kind of I didn't mean save it this amount, which is very small, and how is that going to buy me this car? Or you spoke about a boy who saw a Range Rover and said he wants to get it. If he goes back home and it's like, oh mommy, I used a Range Rover. One day I'm going to buy that car for you and buy it for daddy as well. And his mom is like, hey, sit down, because you know how much I'm earning. But she's kind of it's like, that money is too small. It can never amount to anything big. What do you think about that?
Okay, so there's one beautiful thing about money. That money has a multiplying effect when put in the right places. And so once, the example I gave you earlier on, if 10 years before you got married, and that is immediately you started working or started a family, you started saving consistently with your partner towards the fees paying for your children, that money will multiply to the point that every month you'll be able to take an amount out of that to pay fees without touching the investments. And so money has a multiplying effect. And therefore, watch a sika, it's meter bends. So we're starting in Tema.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Nanama, what are some steps we can start taking right now as young people to change these limiting money beliefs, or to even practice the empowering beliefs you have mentioned?
Put in a plan. Every successful story, every successful program, every successful project started with a plan. A plan to say that either, and sometimes these plans can be dream when it comes to this one. So what do I want to have after 10 years? Or how do I want to look in 10 years? What kind of family do I want to have? What kind of job do I want to have? What kind of savings or investments do I want to have? Then you can start now. So first you need a plan, because the leader of Dubai said, success is for those who dream and dare to achieve it. So there must be a dream or a plan in place. So start with a plan. You also have to start small by putting those funds in interest yielding or savings. So something that could give you, because that is also another motivating factor. You put 100 cedis every day by the side, and then in a year, you see that the interest you are earning on the savings is even more than how much you are saving. That is what I said about the multiplying effect. So you're saving 100 cedis over a period of time. the interest you'll be earning on your investment will be more than 100 cedis. So it means that you're having 100 cedis plus more than 100 cedis every month. And by the time you realize, you have like a triple or more of that coming into your account on a consistent basis. So you start from somewhere. Also invest, don't put all your investments together, separate them. So that once you have, some people put all their investments in one together or in one lump. So once there's an emergency, they dip their hands into it. Once there's something, they dip their hands into it. So put them project by project, dream by dream, and then you do that. That's a start little with interest earning. If you're somebody who is interested in setting up your own business, that's also another opportunity, because it is good to have multiple streams of income. It helps so that once one stream of income is low, the other will be there to support. During this banking crisis, those who had saved and had business diligently work on side businesses easily migrated into their own business, and they are doing so well. One of them was a caterer in my office. So she used to bake at home and sell it in the office in the morning, in the very early hours in the morning, or bring us food when we had parties and drink ups. So when the banking crisis happened, she quickly migrated into her own business, and now she's not even willing to come back into the banking sector. So take advantage of these things, search within yourself and find out what you can do easily without struggle. So for me, because I want to be a businessman, a businesswoman, one day, no matter how late I come home, or no matter what time it is in the night, when I come home, I still have to go through my books to check if everything went well, prepare my proposals for the next day for my side business, and still sleep and wake up in the morning to take care of my children and go to work. So you should do something, search within yourself, something you like doing. It can be small, but start it small. So that's another tip you can add into relating yourself from financial, having financial freedom. You should also, people will say, cut your coat according to your size. It's actually cut your coat according to your fabric. Because if your size is big, so cut your coat according to your fabric. So stay within budget. Don't spend on things that you don't need. Otherwise, you would have to one day sell the things that matter to you because you need them. So spend money on things you need. Some youth or some young ones have so many handbags, so many shoes, so many hairs that they are not even wearing. And what is the use when you can't, what's the use? What's the need, or what's the use when you're not going to, it's not going to be beneficial to you? So one of the things decisions I took was when COVID came, everybody didn't want to, nobody wanted to carry too much things. So I only carried to the office my laptop bag. And I realized that I actually don't need a handbag. And so for the past 2 years, I haven't taken a handbag to work or to work. Maybe if I'm going to church or something. And because of that, I hardly go to church with a handbag. So I have my diary, my Bible, and then my pencil, and then my wallet. And so I'm saying that since everything comes to the bottom line, I would have saved money for these handbags that we just gallivant around, that has no on us. So for the past 2 years, I've not had handbags to work. It's just my computer bag, because it can actually carry some essentials that I'll need in the office. The rest stay in my car. And so that is another thing. Don't buy things you don't need. Don't hang around people who will pull you back. It is the worst thing that can happen to anyone. Hang around friends who will tell you how to build a proper future. Look, when reality sets in, all these friends will leave you. But when you build your life very well, they will come knocking at your door. They will come looking for you. So spend time with those who will bring some meaningful things to your life. That is what I have done, and that's why I'm saying it. So I have cut my coats according to my fabric. I have learned to hang around the right people. I have learned to put a plan in place for everything I do. And I've also put in place a saving habit and also set up my business. So for me, these are the 5 things that you can quickly do to start. You can start with the first one, and then you move to the second until you have some form of fulfillment or satisfaction.
Right. That's amazing. Thank you so much for this session, and thank you so much for being here. It's been quite great. To end the session, I want to know if you personally have any principles to build wealth that you've used over the years. Maybe one or two you can just briefly talk about, so then we move into the question and answer segment.
Naturally, I am a born teacher. I always want to impact what I have, no matter what it will cost me. And so one of the things I do is, and then I'm also somebody who wants to start business from the scratch. So if you want to build wealth, it's not everybody who can be an entrepreneur, because it's a lot of work, a lot of difficulty, tax, diligence, and discipline. So if you think you can be an entrepreneur, you can put your funds in savings. Other people will watch it for you whilst you monitor. So that is one way I'm using to create wealth for myself, building up sustainable business that will last generations. Another thing is the savings, which I've already talked about. The last one I want to say is discipline is important in all this. Discipline and consistent. So once you decide to put your best foot forward, cut down on your savings, and do all these things we've talked about, you need to be disciplined. It's difficult, but things you do repeatedly for 10,000 times, they become a habit. So try and achieve the 10,000 targets, and you don't need to worry so much.
Thank you so much. We have come to the end of our session,